Miller and Rollick state that focusing in motivational interviewing is actually an ongoing process of seeking and maintaining direction. Ideally, there is a shared sense of direction, just as a guide and traveler have an agreement about where they are going. The focusing process involves navigating these often tricky waters to find and maintain a clear direction. It is also common to make course adjustments along the way, which is why focusing tends to be a continuing rather than one-time process. There are three sources of focus: the client, the setting, and the clinical experience. Following are examples descriptive of the sources of focus. The first being the client.
Hello, Mrs. Williams. Is there anything that you would like to discuss about your health today?
Yes, Rebecca. I would like to get in better physical shape to stay healthy as I age.
The direction of service can also be focused by the setting itself. It can be a smoking cessation clinic, a suicide prevention hotline, a mandated program for people convicted of driving while intoxicated. In a setting as just described, clients need not wonder what the topic of conversation will be. The setting sets the focus of the conversation. A third potential source of focus is the clinician. Commonly, people will seek services with one goal in mind, and in the course of consultation the clinician working with them perceives that another kind of change is needed. The client did not come to the clinician with this in mind. So a challenge for the clinician is how to raise the subject and explore the client's willingness to entertain this additional goal or direction. An example of this is when a mother brings a child to the pediatrician for treatment of asthma and yet another upper respiratory infection. The physician wants to talk about the parent's smoking as a contributing factor. In addition to identifying how the agenda is determined within the focus process of motivational interviewing, there are three styles of focusing: directing, following and guiding. With the directing style of focusing, the provider determines the focus which is rooted in his or her own agenda or that of the agency. With the following style of focusing, the focus is on the client's priorities. It is the client that raises what seems like a pertinent issue, and you'll explore it. A following style can enhance engagement, which is itself a therapeutic process. Following is a non-directive approach where the focus comes entirely from what the client brings. The third focusing style is guiding. Guiding promotes a collaborative search for direction, a meeting of expertise in which the focus of treatment is negotiated. The client's agenda are important, and any limitations inherent in the context are taken into account. The clinician's expertise is also a possible source of goals. Following are three focusing scenarios. Number 1. I know where we're going, the focus is clear. An educator who sees patients with newly diagnosed diabetes will focus on ways to achieve glycemic control. Scenario 2. There are several options, and we need to decide. In this scenario there is a finite number of options for a possible focus. With this scenario, agenda mapping is a good approach. With the third scenario, the focus is not at all clear to you. What does this client want and need? Clients themselves may not be clear, and come for your help in sorting out what the dilemma is and how to proceed. The focus of this avatar video is the motivational interviewing process of focusing. The key points you should take away from this avatar video are as follows. 1. The process of focusing involves finding one or more specific goals or intended outcomes that provide direction. 2. Focus can come from the client, the context or the clinician. 3. The general counseling styles of directing, guiding, and following also describe three approaches to focusing. Sometimes there is a clear single focus, sometimes there are several possible topics, and sometimes the focus is quite unclear and exploration is needed.